Please subscribe, like, and comment.
Hey everyone, welcome back to the Deep Dive. Today we're diving into some pretty big news from the world of, well, honestly, it's kind of a mix of gaming and finance.
He really is, yeah.
We're talking about GameStop, that company that, had that huge stock surge a while back.
Right, the whole meme stock thing.
Exactly. Well, now they're making headlines again because they've announced they're getting into Bitcoin.
Big chime.
Yeah, and we're breaking down all the details for you. We dug into this MarketWatch article, why GameStop is trying to be the next MicroStrategy with its Bitcoin move. So we're going to try to make sense of it all.
Sounds good. Let's do it.
All right, so first things first. What exactly is GameStop doing with Bitcoin?
Okay, so basically GameStop has changed their investment strategy. You know how companies typically keep cash reserves, right?
Yeah.
Well, GameStop is now saying they can hold Bitcoin as a reserve asset too.
Bitcoin instead of just like dollars.
Yeah. It's a pretty big deal because it kind of suggests they believe in Bitcoin for the long haul.
And to buy all this Bitcoin, they're raising a ton of money, right? Like over $1 billion?
Yep. They're planning to raise $1.3 billion through something called convertible senior notes. It's a bit complicated, but basically it's a way for companies to borrow money that can later be converted to stock.
Oh, okay. So are they going to use all of that money to buy Bitcoin?
They haven't said exactly how much will go towards Bitcoin. The official line is it's for general corporate purposes, but they specifically mentioned Bitcoin as one of those purposes.
Okay, so a good chunk of it could end up in Bitcoin.
Most likely, yeah.
And that's where the whole MicroStrategy comparison comes in, right?
Right. So MicroStrategy, they're a business intelligence company, and they've been really big on Bitcoin. They've invested tons of money into it, and their stock price has basically become linked to how Bitcoin is performing.
So GameStop's trying to do something similar.
Yeah, seems that.
But why? What's the strategy here?
Well, a few things. First, they could be betting on Bitcoin going up in value in the long term. If Bitcoin's price goes up, the value of their holdings goes up too.
That makes sense.
Plus, it could be a way to, kind of rebrand themselves. Like maybe they're trying to move away from that old school retailer image and position themselves as a more tech-savvy company.
So appealing to a different kind of investor.
Exactly. Yeah, maybe a younger, more tech-focused crowd who are excited about digital assets.
And so far, how are people reacting to this news?
Well, the stock market reacted pretty positively. GameStop's stock price jumped up after the announcement.
Interesting.
And it seems like a lot of that excitement came from those retail traders who were a part of that whole meme stock frenzy back in the day.
The ones who drove the stock price way up initially.
Yeah, exactly.
So everyone's happy then.
Well, not so fast. I mean, there are definitely some risks involved with this whole strategy.
Yes, it does.
Well, for one, Bitcoin is super volatile. I mean, it can go up really high, but it can also crash down really hard.
Yeah, no one can predict what's going to happen with Bitcoin.
Exactly. And the overall economic climate is pretty uncertain right now, so that adds to the risk. And, unlike MicroStrategy, GameStop doesn't really have any obvious ties to the crypto world.
Right. Their main business is still, selling video games and consoles.
Yeah, and that's another concern. Some people are asking if this Bitcoin move is a distraction from their core retail business. Yeah. I mean, GameStop still has a lot of work to do to improve its profitability, so some are worried that this might take away focus and resources from that.
It's almost like GameStop is still trying to figure out what it wants to be after that whole meme stock explosion.
Yeah, I think that's a fair point. It's like they're searching for a new identity, and maybe they see this as a way to reinvent themselves and stay relevant.
And maybe align themselves with this whole digital asset trend that's happening. All right, so to recap, GameStop is making a big play in Bitcoin, very similar to what MicroStrategy has done. Investors are excited, but there are definite risks and questions about whether this is the right move for their core business.
That's a great summary. It's a fascinating situation because there's potential for big rewards, but also big risks. And, it really raises questions about how traditional companies should approach something like Bitcoin.
So here's something to think about. Is this Bitcoin move a bold step into the future for GameStop? Or a risky gamble that could hurt their efforts to really turn their business around? And what does this tell us about the growing role of digital assets in the business world?
That's a great question.
Thanks for joining us for this deep dive.
It's been fun.
And we'll see you next time.
Yeah, see you then.
Please subscribe, like, and comment.